Every great achievement starts with a vision. It doesn't matter if you're trying to start a business, write a book, start a podcast, launch into a new career, whatever it is. You need to have a vision. It's even more important to have a vision if you have to take other people along the journey with you. Your team, your supporters, other stakeholders, people outside who are observing you, who maybe have some level of influence as to the outcome of what you're trying to achieve. So in order to share that with your team, you need to create a vision statement. This is a document that you can hand off to your team and they can have a look and they can read through and then they can get an idea of what it is that you're trying to achieve and potentially their part in helping you to achieve that. Now, vision statements can be done a couple of ways. Now, ideally, or I think most people expect it to be a short, snappy statement. However, I think you should do both. You should do a short, snappy statement and something that is very descriptive. We did a 5-page document that basically went through where we see ourselves in 5 years' time. And it's like we're already there and we've written it as though we're looking backwards to say what we've achieved along the way. I also included the team in building this vision document. So it wasn't just my vision, it was our vision. And that really enabled the team to have buy-in on what it is that they were envisaging that you were trying to achieve. Sometimes a one-liner statement doesn't really cut the mustard. Yes, we want to be the best in the world. We want to make the most money, but that doesn't say why or how you get there or any of those things. And I think you really do need both. So here's some examples of some short, snappy statements from some big companies to create a better everyday life for many people. That is IKEA. That's pretty open. It's pretty broad. It says a lot, but it doesn't say much at the same time. So you really need to give the context behind the company and what they're trying to do as well, or behind your idea or your vision. But it does help to have a short, snappy line because it could be used in marketing comms, it could be used in communication, it could be used to reinforce a bigger message. So whenever you're talking with your team, you can say, this is our vision, and it's a one-liner, but it's as though it's a hint or a reminder to the bigger document, the bigger vision, the thing that everybody agreed on, that contributed to, that feels as though that's what the vision of the company is. And that one-liner just refreshes. It just puts them in that mind frame to go, this is what we're doing here. So maybe if the chips are down, things are not going to plan, you can just maybe not use the line as like a trigger word, but like it refreshes the mind of what are we actually trying to do here? What's the bigger vision? Why are we putting so much time, energy, and frustration, even when the time is bad? You need something just to reinvigorate and remind. And that's what that helps to do. To entertain, to inform, and to inspire people around the globe. That one is Disney. And I think that says a little bit more about what it is. It's so synonymous to what Disney is and does that line really fits and it makes sense. So I think that it could be a very, very difficult thing to get right. But once you do, once you nail it, then it can really have an impact. After you've drafted your vision statement, you want to get it peer reviewed. And when I say peer reviewed, I don't mean friends and family, because they're probably not your peers. If you're running a business, you're an effective operator, right? You've got experience. You do things that people don't do. You think the way people don't think. So you need to find people that are also in business, that are also in experience, probably around the same level as you, maybe, not far above. You don't want someone who's like so far above because maybe they've forgotten what it's like where you're at. You need to kind of find someone who's a peer and then get their advice or their feedback, but do more than one. You might have one person that they go, oh, that's crap. Find someone else, find 5 or 6 people to give you their feedback, to give you their experience and mostly just how it resonates with them. So how did they perceive that information? How did they receive and absorb it into themselves? Because if it makes sense in your head, but it doesn't make sense in somebody else's, then it's not a great vision statement. It's about the people around you, not yourself, and that's why this part is really important. Now, in order to achieve that, you need to set SMART goals. It's really, really easy. You can Google it. You can find it around the web. Most people have heard of it before. You can Google it. It's around the place, everywhere you look. Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. If it's not specific and it's too broad, well, yeah, we're going to achieve many millions of dollars. Okay, that's not very specific. Maybe you could say, we're going to get to $5,000 a month by the end of the year. that's quite specific. It's also measurable and achievable. If you think about the grand scheme of things, we're not asking for $50 million a month. $5,000 a month could be done probably by asking around a few family and friends. And then of course, by being relevant and time bound. Is making that amount of money relevant? Well, yeah, because you're trying to run a business and you're trying to get your revenue up so you can get off the ground and hire staff and buy equipment and all that sort of stuff. But if it was get as many likes on Facebook, well, yeah, it's kind of attached, but it's not a real driving force. It's not going to push you forward. You know, having 1 million likes on Facebook and $0 in the bank, not a great feeling. So it's not really going to help you. And then time bound. You know, we said it earlier, before the end of the year. Now, if that was 2 days away, maybe that's not going to work for you. But if it gave you a few months to figure it out, then yes, it is time bound. It's saying that by this date. It's not like at some point in the future, we're going to achieve this goal. Because if it doesn't have a deadline to it, it's not going to happen. You're just not going to drive towards it. Now, I encourage you to go out and write a whole bunch of goals that you want to achieve in the next 6 to 12 months that are going to work you towards your ultimate vision. Don't go too crazy. Just pick like 5 or 6. And once you've written down those goals, then break that down into milestones and chunks. So you might say, we need to do this in 12 months. That means every month we need to have achieved this. So in order to achieve that, maybe you need to do a few activities. Might be we need to do more marketing. We need to take a sales course, which is not really something that you would do progressively. That's something you could do in one go. But in order to do all of those things, all of those milestones, they will add up to the result or the goal at the end of the year. So if you're not doing them, you're not achieving. So make sure you are going out and ticking off those items. And remember that all of your goals, all of your milestones, all of the little activities need to add up back towards your why. Why are you actually doing this? Because very quickly, you're going to figure out that you've gone down this path and you've put all this effort in and you've got an outcome that you're probably not happy with. So if your goal is to, get your weekends back or not have to work on public holidays or only do like a 9 to 5 work day, then you might have to put in a bit of effort. But if you then take on, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to go to this event, I'm going to fly over there, very quickly, you're going to figure out that you're run ragged, that you've got in too many directions, that you can't commit to any one thing, that you can't finish a project because you've got so much on your plate. So always tie it back to your why. Always go, what am I trying to achieve and how is this going to get me there? Because it might meet the SMART goal criteria, but if it met the SMART goal criteria and it hasn't delivered your end result of what you want to achieve, then it's probably not going to feel like a win. It's not going to feel like you've done the right thing. You're going to feel pretty frustrated. And by the end of it, you'll have just not created a vision or created something great. You've created a liability, a frustration, something that you're not going to be as passionate about. You're not going to drive at with the same force. You're not going to get up early in the morning to make sure that you achieve that thing. So staying motivated for the long term can be really, really important by setting a big vision, making sure the goals and milestones align to your why, and then consistently putting in the action so that you're getting the output. So thank you very much for watching. Really appreciate it. Please do give a like and a subscribe. And if you've got any other comments, please let me know. If you enjoyed that video and you want to check out some more, then watch this next video right here.